The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, dear souls, to our channel. Please subscribe and tell people about it. We are here with the Archangel Raphael, and the angel behind me is not Raphael. That was a figment of my imagination quite a while ago when I drew the picture and then went to a stained glass person and said, "Can you do this?" He said, "Pick out the colors and it's done." And so I did, and it is a beautiful stained glass, and I've had it for some time now. But I'm here today to tell you that we're going to talk about imagination. Now, I've quoted this before of Jesus, and I've looked it up, and it is Matthew something. And anyway, he talks about unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And what he means is unless you have a childlike imagination, and trust, just like a child does, and can use his imagination to turn that toy truck into a revved up engine that he plays with. I had a great imagination as a little girl. I used to use dominoes to build houses, and my father always brought home little glass animals, dogs and cats. The dogs were the men in the family, and the cats were the women. And I played with my imagination for many hours all by myself because I was raised by an aunt and uncle by myself. So when you use your imagination, you open up a world of new ideas of things you can do. And I can't begin to tell you of all the things that I've created throughout my life. Now, some people are more able to create than others. But once you open up your imagination, then you'd be amazed at not only of the creative things you can do, but the problem solving that comes just like a snap because you know how to use your mind, your heart, and your imagination to solve problems. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, let's begin. Some people, I had a client one time who said she took a class in how to imagine, in imagination. She said she failed. I said, "That's impossible." And so I said, "Okay, close your eyes." And so she did. I said, "Now imagine a tree." And she nodded. And I said, "Okay, is it a leafy tree or is it an evergreen tree?" She said, "It's a leafy tree." Okay. I said, "Imagine it in the wintertime with snow on the branches." She took a minute and she nodded. I said, "Okay, are you with me, audience? Because I'm sure you're seeing it too." Then I said, "Okay, imagine a red cardinal on that snow branch." She took a minute and then she smiled and she said, "Okay." And I said, "Okay, now open your eyes and look at me. Am I that tree? Am I that cardinal?" And she smiled and she said, "No." I said, "You just used your imagination." She said, "Is that all there is to it?" And I laughed and I said, "Yes, indeed it is. You put pictures in your mind when you have a word that says car. You immediately have a picture of a car. And each person's cars could be different, but it's a car. And so you have a vocabulary of words that invoke an image, imagination, of a car. And that reminds me of a client, a young man that I had that had a picture of this Ferrari, a red Ferrari, on his refrigerator. And I don't know how long ago it was, but maybe I'm telling tales. But anyway, he had this imagination that if he was told how to produce things, how to make things happen. And so he had this picture of the Ferrari on the refrigerator. And I said, and he goes, "And what? What do you mean?" I said, "And how are your finances?" And he said, "Well, I got a couple of credit cards that are maxed out, And I burst out laughing because I said, you can have all the pictures in the world on your refrigerator, but if you don't have to keep your finances in charge, you're never going to get a loan and you're never going to get that car. I said, you may need to work 2 or 3 jobs like my husband did at one time to raise his family. And so you can't just sit back in your haunches and use your imagination and expect that's going to win you the lottery. It doesn't work that way. So please, please don't think that I'm going to help you to know prosperity and abundance by showing you your imagination. Your imagination is going to give you the steps to take to get to where you want to go. When you open up your mind, your heart, and your soul to God, and you ask for how to get from here to there, you will be given the ideas, a step-by-step ideas to get you there. It doesn't just happen like a miracle. And please don't use this to try and win the lottery. The lottery is not what it's cracked up to be. Sure, you have an abundance of money at one time, but you also have all kinds of would-be friends that got their hands out, can I have this? Can I have that? Because you won a couple million. You'd be surprised how fast a million can go when you don't invest it. And so start looking up people who have won the lottery and look at their stories. It's a story of woe and turmoil and frustration and lost friends. So don't even ask for that. Instead, ask that all of your needs are met this day and every day of your life. And say that every day, more than once. Thank you, God, that my needs are met this day and every day of my life. And then you will be inspired step by step how to have your needs met, even when you don't even know you have that need. And that's how you use your imagination. Now, it means that, let's say you have debts that you have to pay, and it's a real stretch to get those debts paid. Well, if you go at paying your debts with stress and anger and frustration, those are all heavy energy thoughts. And when the thoughts are heavy, it brings you down to a point where you don't have the energy to create what you desire. Thoughts are things. The gurus of old have all said this. Thoughts are things. They are either from the positive or the negative. And if you have negative thoughts, oh, I can't do that, or that'll never happen, or, well, that's a fairy tale if you think I can take care of this. I'm in so far in debt, blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, what choices did you make that put you in debt? I know that in today's world, there are choices you had to make because you had to have food on the table. Today is not a good world in regards to prosperity and abundance. And imagining money coming to you through a dove bringing it in the door is not going to cut it. But opening your imagination to ways that you can bring in more money, and through another job, through selling some things that you might have, yes, there are ways that you can do that. And your imagination is guided by your guardian angel. So trust that and know that when you have a need and you thank God that that need is met, that's the key thing, that it's already met. Then you'll be amazed at how ideas will come and come and come, and you will be able to solve your problems. So we're going to talk about imagination today. So you got that picture of the tree in your mind? Okay, make it a tree full of leaves in the summertime. Can you hold that picture? Got it. All right. Now, pretend it's fall. What color are the leaves? Got it? Oh, I see a maple tree. Bright red. Absolutely gorgeous. Where I used to live in Otter Lake, Michigan, there was a tree around the corner that was a maple tree, and it was the most gorgeous red tree in the fall. And I often hold on to that just for the joy of that picture. So you got a tree in mind that's in the fall? Okay, now be like one tree that was in our property. I've never seen it before, and I've never seen it since. My husband and I were looking out the window, and this one tree full of leaves suddenly went poof, and all the leaves fell down. Now, I have never seen that before or since. They fall one at a time throughout a period of time. Not this one. It decided, oh, it's fall. All my leaves are gone. Is that how you walk into your life? Okay, we got to move on. Let's leave the baggage behind. I think it's a great thing if you can. So use your imagination now and see that tree as it would be in the fall, in its glory. Then let's see it in the wintertime, and all the leaves are gone, and the beautiful branches tell a story. Down here in Florida, we don't have that quite so obvious seasonal change, but I'm from Michigan, and believe me, I love to see the seasons come and go. So imagine that. That's what imaging is. It's holding a picture in your mind. Now, when I taught music and English in the junior high, I used the imagination a lot, particularly when I had to teach grammar, and it was called, writing and all the different things that eighth graders would have. I played to their imagination. I showed them how to awaken their imagination. And I had them get into a quiet state. And they called it meditation. And I went, no, it's not meditation. I didn't want to get into trouble with my principal. I said, no, it's learning to focus your imagination by relaxing the body. That's important, because if you're uptight, you're not going to be able to be creative. So you relax the body and you open the mind, and then you present the problem that you have and you want a solution to it. And believe me, that has worked well for me all my 87 years. And so I recommend that you learn to open up your imagination, your ability to image. That's the key thing, your ability to image. Now, before I go any further, I have a friend that needs your prayers. Rebel Medler was caught in the hurricane in Louisiana, and she was without water, without energy for 3 whole days. And she was the engineer for my radio show. And she was unable to be the engineer for quite a while. 3 days they were without any cell phone or any electricity or even being able to get out. It was really a bad scene. And so I ask your prayers for her, that she can recoup what's been going on, and also to know that we miss her and we have her in our prayers. So I had to put that in. Now, let's go back to imagination. Image. What can you image? Have you done any artwork? If you haven't, consider taking an art class, because it really does help to keep the imagination sharp. And I was just watching Bob Ross, yeah, something like that. Anyway, I was watching on TV the story of him, and kind of how joyously he presented his artwork and how he could do a painting in 30 minutes. Amazing how he did it. He had a certain way to do it, but he had an imagination. He had the ability to image something, and he would say, as he's doing this thing, he would have this scene in the background, and he said, and now let's just put a little tree here. And he would take a black paint and he would go right up the canvas. And everybody would kind of blink and say, you just ruined it. And then he would finish up, and it was absolutely gorgeous. His imagination was very strong. He could see that tree and what it would look like. And so he loved doing that, having this beautiful painting, and then put a black mark all the way up, just to kind of get people kind of going, oh, what are you doing? And he was doing it to create an even better picture. But he had it up here. It was in his mind. He could see it. Okay, here we go. Imagine the new car you would like to have. Well, if you're like me, that's not going to work, because I don't know one car from another. But I have a friend who went to the Honda dealer, I think it was, and there was this bright orange Honda, and she just bought it right off the lot. It was like, oh my gosh, she didn't even need imagination. She loved the orange color. To me, it was like, yeah, I would never get an orange car. But she loved it. And she's been traveling around in that brand new car and doing all kinds of things. So good for her. She had the imagination enough to know her finances and know that she could afford to buy that car. So she could picture what she had in her account. And then when it came time to actually pay for it, she could. So there's another practical way to have your imagination, is to be able to image your bank account and look at your checkbook and know how much money is in it, so that if you can do something or not. So even though you might have the image of it, you do want to check it just to be sure that your image is correct. But also, when you have problems to solve, that's when having an imagination is so important. So if there is a problem, well, let's say between you and someone else, there's so many ways to solve problems. But when you call upon your guardian angel and you call upon Raphael and the archangels to help you solve a relationship problem, you will be given ideas of things you can do. And if that fails, they'll get another idea. Ideas are abstract. It takes the imagination to give them form. So this is where you need to go from an abstract blank idea and then bring it in with your imagination and how to make it a reality. So let's go back to that tree. This time, let's change it to an evergreen tree. Now I have blue spruce on my property in Michigan. They're from Colorado, so they're transplants, but they were absolutely beautiful. And I can picture every one of them with lights on them and Christmas bulbs on them. There was a whole row of them. I can still see it very clearly in my imagination. So if I were to do a painting of that scene, it's still up here. I could do it. I would need to have pictures, real pictures of a blue spruce, so that I could use the paints to create it, because I'm not that good at seeing it in my mind like a lot of artists are. I really need to see a picture of something, and then I can copy that. But it's fun. If you haven't taken a painting class, I so recommend it. It's great if you have depression. Believe me, it is a wonderful way to get out of depression. I really recommend that you go to an art class. And I know because of the pandemic, you might have to wear a mask. But if there is an art class out there and you have never done it before, either in oils or acrylics or pastels even, whatever, or just drawing, I highly recommend it. It's so good for the heart. It's so good for the imagination. And it's so good for your overall health. So art can be a real therapist for you. And we all need them. During this day and age, we all need that kind of joyful therapy. So I do recommend it. Find an artist nearby and take a class. I was fortunate enough to have a very dear friend of mine who is also an artist. She started teaching art in the place where I was living. She had a place to go to every week, and I was there for quite a while before I moved. And she's still teaching. She still has people that come there to learn how to do art. And what a gift, not only for her art, her paintings are absolutely amazing. She does animals, she can do a person's dog or cat. It looks just like it's stepped off from the painting. So with gifts, you have to nourish them, because that gift is not going to get better unless we practice, unless we play with it. And that has to do with your entire life. If your life isn't going the way you want it to, it's likely because you've exhibited more fear and anxiety that block all the creative ideas. So how do you get out of that pain and anxiety that things are not going to go right? Well, deep breathing is one very important thing. So when people take a breath, they don't go, see how it tightens up? That's a shallow breath. It's up here. When you take a deep breath, it goes all the way down to your gut and you can't see it in your face. Watch. Learn to do abdominal breathing, especially when you are in times of stress. And then go into your inner kingdom. Jesus said, unless you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is right within you. And what is that kingdom of heaven? But the joy of the presence of God that is there all the time. You just block it off with your worry and your anxiety. You cannot see through the fog of worry and anxiety. You can only see through love. And when you love yourself unconditionally, quit condemning yourself, quit saying, oh, I'm having a bad hair day, or if I had this or that, I would be okay. No. Take what God has given you and exalt it as you express your love of the world and the people around you through your eyes. Even if you have a mask on, your eyes can smile. And so I still wear a mask when I go out, even though I've had the vaccination. And I know a lot of people have. I don't ask, but I wear a mask because it's still a variant is out there. And so I am still being very, very careful. And it's no big deal to wear a mask. It's just common sense. And this whole baloney about it's my free will is being whatever to be told to wear a mask, that's just childish. I'm sorry. It's childish. But I want to do what I want to do and nobody can make me. That's childish. To say, well, the science has proven that these are airborne germs. You can't see them, but they're swarming all around there like mosquitoes that are invisible. And if they bite you, good luck with that if you haven't been vaccinated. Now, I'm not saying take this vaccine or that vaccine. I'm saying pay attention to what scientists have proven in the laboratory. And if you haven't been vaccinated, please do so. And if you haven't been vaccinated, please wear a mask to protect me and other senior citizens like me. So that's kind of off the tangent here. Let's go back to imagination. And again, I'm going to give a little plug for our book, which is called Ask Raphael. And I don't know if he talks directly about imagination, but you can get this book at Ask Raphael, Amazon. It's going across the screen right now. Thank you, Dean, who's taking over for Rebel. This is the book that you want to get. This is what Raphael has been doing through this webpage for 3 years now, is it? And believe me, it has a lot of stuff in it. And I'm really encouraging people that when they read it, if they want clarification or if they have a question that wasn't found answered in this book, to please email me at angelbettyray@gmail.com. angelbettyray@gmail.com. Dean, can you put that across the thing? There it comes. Thank you. Very good. So Raphael and I are here for all of you. And as long as I'm on this planet, right now I am not charging for any of the readings that I do with the Archangel. And all you have to do is angelbettyray@gmail.com, and we will set up a reading time. And I will go into a semi-trance state, which is what I do. I kind of get myself out of the way and allow Raphael to come in and give you the answers to your questions. Don't hesitate to give us a call or give us an email. And then at that time, we'll set up a time and we'll do a phone reading. Now, I do have people that do come to the house if they live here in Florida and it's not too far away. I had one person that drove 4 hours to be here all the way across the state. And I'm so glad that she was able to do that, because what we have created here with the labyrinth on the property and a sacred wheel so that people can meditate. And we do teach a meditation class. So if you are nearby and would like to come visit, give us an email and we can set up something where you can come directly here. Now, we have been talking about creativity and visualization. We want to impress upon you that you are divinely created to be a co-creator with God. You are like an explorer on a planet to discover the positive, negative, highs and lows of this particular planet called Earth. And we are asking you to have a feeling for this planet that is burning up because of the changes in the Earth. And so please pay attention. And when they come out with things that can reduce this terrible plague upon this planet, please support it, because there are solutions to climate change. It's just that we have been so ignorant of what this planet needs and so busy trying to politicize what our next move is and trying to get money and all the wrong things. Let's focus on our beloved planet. And when you find this Green New Deal, hopefully that's going to come out soon, that you support it, because the planet needs your help. And so we're putting in a plug for that. So use your imagination here. Now with me, I'm retired. I don't have the money to be supporting all these people that email me, want me to support this or want me to support that. Even the police department, I've supported them once, and now they want to check every time they call. And I have a son who was a policeman, so that's why I did it once. But I can't afford to be doing it all the time. And I don't even want to use those words because those words are negative. I choose not to be giving away my money to everybody that asks for it. I don't have enough. And so, nope, I cancel that too. I have plenty, and it takes care of all my needs. And that means I have to pick and choose what my needs are. I hope that you're doing this as well, because I have counseled so many people who are giving their children money all the time. And I say to them, it's your hard-earned money. It's what you need for your living in your old age, and that they need to be putting it away for that. So be cognizant of the fact that you are responsible for your debts. If you bring a debt into the world, it's your responsibility to treat it like a child that has been born to you, and you must help it to be dwindled down to zero. So many people are filing bankruptcy. Did you know that it is a debt you carry into the next lifetime? Bankruptcy is not a way out. It's a way to be stuck. And if you have to file for bankruptcy because of, we'll say, medical bills that are way beyond your ability to go, that's different. But if you run up the bill like the young man that wanted to buy the Ferrari, if you run up 2 credit cards to the point where you can't pay them off, that's on you. And you have to pay it off because you created it. But if medical bills are what created it, that's a different story. And there needs to be all kinds of things in our medical world that allows people to have medical without having to end up with a debt for the rest of their lives. There's all kinds of justice in the world. And when we are imaging complete justice, it would be for everybody, for all kinds of people, no matter what their race, their religion, their hair color, no matter what. This is justice when everybody has equal access to health care, equal access to voting, and equal access to all of the things that will help them to be a citizen of this United States and to be able to express their needs in a peaceful manner. Now, what happened at the Capitol had nothing to do with expressing themselves in a way that was what was to be. That was a crime against our country, and it needs to be looked at that way. Now, it's not just my opinion. Raphael can see it as it truly is. That was a power grab, people. That was a power grab, and I think I have all kinds of ideas about it, but I'm not going to express them. Instead, I'm going to say, when it comes to politics, watch what you see, pay attention to what you hear, and make sure that you understand the ins and outs behind it. Keep up to date with the companies and the broadcasting that will get you the correct news. There's so much misinformation out there. You really have to pick and choose what you're getting. Got off a little bit there, but let's go back. Your imagination is how you create. And if your politics are skewed, where you are getting misinformation, you're creating a world that is not accurate. It's not true. And eventually it's going to come back and snap you in the face, because it's like a rubber band. You can only stretch it so far, which is the truth. You can only stretch it so far, and bingo, whoop, there you go. And you suddenly go, oh my goodness, I had no idea. Well, you did have an idea. You followed the wrong path. Make sure that you get the news from various broadcasting. And if you see conflict and see that it is because they're trying to sway it a certain way, you need to fact check. This is how fact checking came into place in the first place, is because when somebody tells a lie, it creates a vision in their mind, and they hold it there. It stays there in their mind until the fact checking comes around and goes, that wasn't true. This is the truth. And then you may say, well, how do you know that's the truth? Well, that's when you do the fact checking. When you go online and you start asking questions of various different people, and you'll find the truth will come out. But by envisioning that you are hearing the truth, and that's where you talk to the archangels and you say, I want the truth and nothing but the truth, sir and Bob. And that's how you do it. And they will help you to find the truth. Now, I know that we're still got some time left. Can we get some, let's look at private chat here. Can somebody tell me where we're going? Kind of keep me up board, because I have a tendency to run over. So let me know how many minutes I've got, okay? All right. Now, I'm good. Thank you. Okay, so today's lesson, or today's topic, is visualizing, learning how to see something pretty much in its created form. Okay, thank you. They're going to give me 5 minutes when 5 minutes are left. Okay, so use your imagination to create what it is you desire. Now, let's supposing that you're looking for a new house, and you really haven't pinned down all the things you want in this new house. Well, you know what how much you can afford. And so you're looking in a certain bracket. And so, but you aren't quite sure where you want it to be. You want to look at the neighborhood. So it's visuals that you're having. When you say, I want to look at the neighborhood, that's visualizing. And I do remember, I don't want to put down any neighborhood, but I do remember when I was living in Brooksville and Spirit kept saying move, and it was like, why? I'm really happy here. Why do you want me to move? But I kept hearing move. So I said, okay, I'll start looking. Well, I looked in the nearest neighborhood. I won't name it, but it was a mess. There was unkept yards, more than one car sitting around. It was just a mess. And then I went to look at another town nearby, and it was the same thing. It had been neglected. And the crash of 2008 had been part of it, because there were beautiful homes that weren't even finished. They were just left unfinished. And that ruined the whole neighborhood, because those people that paid all that money for that home ended up in a neighborhood that was garbage. So those are circumstances. Here they are with this big house, the payments they still have to make, and it isn't worth half of what they paid for it. That's bad. And yet they had to use their imagination and what they could do to be able to sell their house and move on. So don't hesitate to look at your surroundings and image it. Now, we did this. Actually, every place we lived in, my husband and I, we did this. We would image how we wanted our house to look, the grounds and everything. And believe it or not, it raised the value of our house. And there, that kind of made people next door want to make their house look good so their value would go up, and the whole neighborhood got better. So when you do what you need to do to make your house beautiful and image it first, imagination. See how a flower garden in front can make such a world of difference. And so can weeding that garden when it needs to be weeded. And thanks to my friend here with me, she just weeded the garden and it's just looking gorgeous. I can't do it anymore because I'm too old. But she, bless her heart, has volunteered to do that. And it just makes such a difference. So keeping your yard up, using your imagination to see how beautiful it could be, that's so important. Because when you have an image and you can see flowers in the yard, then you're motivated to put your pennies aside to buy some beautiful plants and to spruce up your neighborhood. And that image becomes a reality, and it feels so good. So remember, when you get an image in your mind, it sort of flashes, and it's coming from your spirit guides and your angels that are trying to help you to make your life even better. And so pay attention to images that flash in your mind and ideas. And don't just say, oh, I can't do that, or I've got the money to do that. If you got the image, if you got the flash of a picture, they will help you. Your angels and guides will help you find the money to make it a reality. This is important because you are a co-creator with God. And when you get an image to create something beautiful, don't stop until you do. Okay. Okay. So I'm looking for people to give me comments. There's one. Okay. Thank you, Bill. He says, hello, Miss Betty. To use imagination means to be in love with life. All right. Dr. Bill Kenner has been just a very wise old soul. So he's saying you can be creative only if you love life enough that you want to enhance its beauty. So create. Thank you. I'm going to read that again from William Kenner, Dr. William Kenner. He says, hello, Miss Betty. To use imagination means to be in love with life. You can be creative only if you love life enough that you want to enhance its beauty. So he's encouraging everybody create. And remember, to get your imagination cranked up, you've got to kind of, be like a little child, where a child has got imagination going all the time. Everything that they can turn a rock into something that is to play with. And so when you've got that kind of childlike imagination that allows you to be able to create anything in your life that you desire, even though you don't have the funds, you figure out a way to do it. And a lot of the things that I have created in my life have been just using odds and ends around the house. And the angel or the dove behind, I'm kind of using my thing to do it. Okay. I heard somebody said, I love what you are saying about imagination. It's all me. So somebody came in with that. Thank you for coming and joining us. And I'm getting it 3 times now. So thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. It's so good. All right. Okay. Thanks, Bill, for your comment. And I invite other people to make comments and to know that this is a reality. This is not play stuff. This is not, you have to be a child to have the imagination. Excuse me. But you have to be an adult to be able to take that image and bring it into a physical reality. And that's why it's important that little kids can do that too. They can make a tent out of the sheet from their bed, and they can play in under that tent with a light in down there. That's imagination. And that's so much fun. But you can also figure out how to do things around your house without a whole lot of money that can make your house even more beautiful. So don't be coward, or don't be afraid to use your imagination for whatever desires you have, because you can find a way when you use your imagination. and then you're able to create it. And remember that it is beauty that you are trying to bring into the world. And in so doing, you are beautifying your soul, as William says. So everybody, get ready. It's beginning to be fall already. It is fall, and it seems like it's the beginning of things. I do believe that. So it's the beginning of you beautifying your space. And sometimes all it takes is rearranging your furniture and dusting off all those knickknacks and rearranging them, putting some of them away, bringing out some other pretty little things that you might have, to make sure you don't have too much of one thing, because it can look cluttered. And when the energy gets stuck in all those little knickknacks, you'll feel stuck. So if you're feeling stuck, get rid of some of the stuff that's on the shelves and rearrange things, dust them off, and you'll be surprised like you've got a new breath on life. And so use your imagination now to see how you can spruce up your home, to see how you can make your home more comfortable, and how you can be comfortable in your home. And that means keeping it tidy and clean. It is an ancient feng shui, which is good energy. Excuse me. Good energy, good chi, is when your home is tidy and it's decluttered and it's dusted and clean. And so those are things that need to be done if they haven't been done, to do them right away, because you'll be amazed at how that'll work. Then I suggest you get some sage. It's an herb. I don't know what you'd call it, but it looks like weeds. And you put it in a package and you light it, and then it puts off this lovely smoke. The Native Americans used it all the time to cleanse things. And so I suggest that you get some sage and you use that smoke throughout the whole house to cleanse the house of any negative energy, particularly if there's been a bad argument or any kind of anger that has been presented in your home. You want to sage that energy away. You don't want that to stay around the house. That kind of energy can pull everybody down, can make everybody feel kind of blah, because they don't know what to do with the energy. It's like walking into a dark cloud. And so use sage and put it in some kind of a glass bowl or something so that the ashes can drop into it. But then go around with that little package of sage and sage every little inch of your house and say, as you do, angels, stand guard here. Clear this energy. You'll be amazed at how it will make a difference. And as you are doing it, image that angels are there waiting for you to give the word, so they have permission to be in your home and to help guard it. It's really, really important. Okay. I'm so glad that we have people that have been answering here. So thank you, William. Okay. Got people that are happy with what we're saying. That's good to hear. Okay. So, excuse me. So when you can relax your body and breathe deeply, and that abdominal breathing is so important. If you're doing chest breathing, you're tightening up your energy in such a way that you can't allow it to flow with new ideas. So make sure that your shoulders are relaxed, that you're not tightened up there. Make sure that you are relaxed throughout your body. And part of the way I help people to get to a semi-trance state, which is where you want to do a deep meditation, is telling them to start with their toes. While you're doing abdominal breathing, you tighten up your toes, tighten them up, and you let them relax. Then you push your heel down into the floor, and you can feel the muscles there, and you let it relax. Then you push your toes down into the floor. You can feel the muscles again, and you let it relax. And you tighten up the buttocks muscles, and you can feel it in your thighs. Okay? And you relax. And you tighten up your stomach muscles, and then relax. And you tighten up your shoulders right up to your ears, and then you drop them, and you relax. And you make fists, and then you relax. And you lift your eyebrows up, and you close your eyes real tight, and then you relax. And when you are doing that and concentrating on relaxing the body and calling upon your angel guides to be with you, the next thing you know, you will have a wonderful meditation, and your imagination will be allowed to be free. And I've got 1 minute left. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So let's summarize here. Today is about imagination. Use your imagination to create whatever you desire, but be practical. Don't be like the young man who wants his Ferrari and yet has got 2 credit cards up to the wazoo. Be practical. Put money aside. Whatever money you get, put a little bit aside for that particular goal that you have. And next time you come, let's talk about something that will be of benefit to all of you, and that is relationships. Always something to learn about relationships. Until next time, I know we still have maybe a couple of seconds left, but please think about this as your imagination. Image something today that you can bring into fruition by the end of the week, or give yourself some kind of a destination. So keep it simple, and yet use your imagination. So when you got a grocery list, half the time I leave it on the refrigerator. So I have to use my imagination to image that list, and I see that on the refrigerator, and then I remember what I need. Use your imagination for your highest and greatest good. Call upon your angels to help you image what will help bring to you your highest and greatest good. And until I see you, got 2 minutes left. I thought it was just 1. Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes left. Let's reiterate again. Today was all about imagination, imaging, being able to see what it is. If you're working on a project, be able to see what it looks like when it's finished, and to be able to see step by step how you're going to get there. That's what you need the imagination for. That's what you need imaging for. So that if you set up a project, you've already gone through it in your mind. You already know the steps that you have to take. So it's like you've done that already. And if it's the first time you've done it, by going through it with your imagination, it makes it the second time that you've done it, and you're a pro. And so always use your imagination, your imaging, to be able to find what it is that you need to create and how you can create it. Then call upon your guardian angels, call upon Raphael and all the archangels. They're only waiting for you to speak to them, because that's the only way they can proceed. Angels are not allowed to interfere in any human's life. So make sure that you ask for permission, and then you ask your angels to help you. So use your imagination this week, and come back next week and tell me what you've created, because I think that is the proof that your imagination is working and all of your needs are being met. Do say that every day. Thank you, God, that all my needs are met this day and every day of my life. And until you figure out what your needs are, you won't know how to figure out how to make them. Let your imagination lead the way. And so, I don't know what our time is. It says I have 2 minutes, but I think we're pretty much near the end of the show. Until I see you next time, please don't hesitate to email me, which is angelbettyray@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to email me, ask your questions, set up a phone conversation with Raphael, and it's free. I don't charge. We are asking for donations because we now have set up a way for people to learn to meditate. And we are beginning to do, we've got a room in the back, and we are beginning to do things that people can do together. So Angel Betty Ray is across the scene now @gmail.com. Don't hesitate to get in touch with me. And until I see you next time, I don't know where we're at because I see I still have 2 minutes. But again, email me, angelbettyray@gmail.com, if you have any questions. And please do order the book. Raphael answers pretty much all your questions. So don't hesitate to get this book from yep, there it is. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Ask Raphael. His amazing answers in here, and you will enjoy it. And I really hope to get some feedback on this station, because when you do channeling, believe me, it means trusting your imagination. Because at the beginning, I thought it was just my imagination. But then when I didn't have I began to realize this was not me doing the talking. This had to be somebody else, and it turned out to be the Archangel Raphael. How blessed I am, and I'm sharing that blessing with you. And I say to you this week, open your imagination and allow your own guardian angels and all of the archangels to enter into your life to give you a bigger perspective and answers to your questions and solutions to your problems that you would not have had before. My goodness, now it says I have 4 minutes. How much time do I have? Come on, give me the truth here. I'll keep going until you tell me I'm out, but we went from 2 minutes to 4 minutes, so come on, let's get it.
No, Betty Ray, you're looking at the old text.
I'm looking at the old test.
It is
Okay.
time.
It's time. Well, that's not what it shows me in private chat there. It's time, so I have to say goodbye and come back next week. Please subscribe and do check in with us if you'd like a private meeting with Raphael. Bye for now. Bye.